Welcome back to Fox Explainer. Today I am going to show you an American dystopian movie from 2018 called The Darkest Minds. Spoilers ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Watch out and take care. In the United States in the year 2043, children and teens start to die because of a terrible disease that only affects children. This disease is contagious and spreads quickly. However, this disease only kills children and not adults. As a result of this virus, 98% of children and teens die, and only 2% of children survive the disease. The children who do survive become abnormal. The disease gives these kids a special ability that makes them dangerous. The government wants all parents to send their surviving child to a camp for healing and research. And at that time, the President of the United States, President Gray, says that his son, Clancy, has survived the disease and is being treated at the camp for healing, where his condition is getting better. In the camp, doctors and scientists sort children and their disorders into 5 colors. First, there are the greens, for children whose intelligence has grown. The second is blue and is for people with telekinetic abilities. The third group is gold, who have the power to control electricity. The first 3 groups are thought to be pretty safe, so they are only being treated in healing camps. The fourth group, which is red, is considered dangerous because its members can control fire. The fifth group, orange, is the most dangerous because its members can control the minds of other people. The red and orange groups are very rare, and the government thinks they are very dangerous and orders that they be killed as soon as they are seen. The movie takes us to a place where a little girl named Ruby is celebrating her birthday with her parents. They are worried because all the other children around are dead and only Ruby is still alive. Ruby goes to her mother's room at night to calm her down, but when she holds her hand, she has a strange vision. In the morning, her mother doesn't recognize Ruby as her own child anymore, so she calls the government to take Ruby away to the healing camp. Finally, Ruby and the other children are taken to the healing camp. Every child who is brought to the camp is examined by the doctor to find out what kind of abnormality they have. Ruby is taken to the examination, where she is found to be orange, the most dangerous group that can control other people's minds. So, the doctor wants to immediately give Ruby a lethal injection. But Ruby is able to take control of his mind and convince him that she is a green, which is a person whose intelligence has improved quickly and is not considered dangerous. At the camp, there are 3 groups: green, blue, and gold. There are no red or orange ones because they are all killed as soon as they are seen. Ruby then lives in the camp as a green. 6 years have passed, and the camp captain scolds Ruby for making a mistake at work. The captain thinks that Ruby is more stupid than the other people there, so he or she starts to get suspicious. But Ruby's campmate tries to defend her and insults the camp captain, which makes him angry. As a punishment, the captain takes her away. The children in the camp are treated very badly. In the evening, frequency tests are often done at the camp. This frequency test, in short, is a test that uses a very loud sound that only children can hear. Ruby passes out during this frequency test, so she is taken to a doctor named Dr. Kate for more tests. The officer finds out that Ruby is an orange from the test. Dr. Kate writes Ruby an note in secret telling her that they have found out she is orange and will kill her right away. Dr. Kate tells Ruby to meet her in the boiler room. Ruby goes to the boiler room right away in a panic, where Dr. Kate is waiting for her. By then, the alarm has gone off because someone has broken in, and all the officers are told to look for Ruby. Ruby is able to leave in Dr. Kate's car with the help of Dr. Kate. But at the checkpoint, Ruby is almost caught, but she uses her power to control the officer's mind and let them get away. After 6 years, Ruby finally manages to get out of the camp. In the car, Kate gives Ruby a panic button that can be used as a tracker if she is in danger. Kate says that she is part of the Children's League, whose job is to get kids out of the camp and fight the government. Kate takes her to a gas station to meet her boyfriend, Rob, who is also on a mission to save children. But when Ruby almost trips and holds Rob's hand, she sees Rob, who seems to like hurting children. Ruby starts to doubt their intentions. Ruby is changing her clothes in a shop when she suddenly sees a small girl who can control electricity. The girl runs away when she sees Ruby, and Ruby goes after her. The girl gets into a van, and Ruby follows her to hide from Dr. Kate. The little girl's name is Sue, and she is mute and always wears gloves because of this. Sue is with 2 friends named Liam and Charles. Liam is blue and has telekinesis, while Charles is green and smart. They all agree to go with Ruby and help her escape from Kate. On the way, Lady Jane is a woman who tries to catch up with them. Lady Jane is a child snatcher who works for money. During the chase, Kate also tries to catch up with them. Liam, however, uses his telekinesis power to bother them by scattering the leaves, cracking the road, and even knocking down trees. As a result, they manage to get away. They also start to get to know each other better, but Ruby doesn't say that she is an orange. Instead, she says she is a green. Liam tells them that they are on their way down the East River to a group of kids led by a mysterious person called the Slip Kid. People don't know who the Slip Kid is, but it looks like he's an orange who can control people's minds. He also says that the Children's League led by Dr. Kate is not a good place to stay. He used to be in the Children's League, which trains kids to use their talents to fight against the government. Liam did not like the idea of becoming a soldier, so he eventually left the league. In the meantime, Ruby and the others spend the night at an inn. Ruby remembers her time with her parents. It turns out that she couldn't really control her ability, and because of that, she accidentally erased her parents' memories of her when she was a child. Ruby accidentally touches Zoo's hand while she is sleeping. She then remembers that Zoo used to be in a government camp with her, but she and hundreds of other children rebelled and ran away, led by Liam. Because of the bad things that happened to her at the camp, Zoo became mute. In the morning, they go to a long-closed mall to shop and get some supplies. They really enjoy their time together since they never had a normal childhood, but all at once, their bodies are lifted and moved by a group of people. Zoo uses her electric power to stop it. It turns out that they are also a group of children with telekinesis skills. At night, they talk about the children's group in the East River and how secret it is. They know where East River is, but they can't tell Ruby and her friends the exact location because it's a secret they can't reveal. Ruby, on the other hand, uses her telepathy in secret to make one of them unknowingly give a clue about the location, which is the letter EDO. Later that night, Genius Charles tries to figure out what EDO is, but he finds nothing. But after talking with Ruby about how her father was a cop, Charles starts to think that EDO might be a radio frequency. He comes to the conclusion that E represents 5, D represents 4, and O represents 0. And he uses the number 540 as the radio frequency. Finally, they get a message from the frequency and find out that the location is at Lake Prince, Virginia. The next day, Lady Jane, the child hunter, ambushes them on the road. She uses the sound frequency of her rifle to knock out the children. Ruby uses her power to take control of Lady Jane's mind and give her what she deserves as a punishment. Liam and the others are shocked that Ruby has been orange all along. It turns out that Ruby has been lying to them all this time because she isn't proud of her skills. Sometime later, Ruby tells Liam about her past. They start to fall in love with each other. Then, they continue on their way and reach Lake Prince, Virginia. There, they meet other kids like themselves. They are so surprised because they haven't seen that many children in a very long time. They also meet the Slip Kid, who turns out to be the son of the president, Clancy Gray. Clancy is orange too, just like Ruby. At night, they hold a party. Liam and Ruby dance romantically together. In the morning, everyone gets a task, and Ruby's is to help Clancy. Clancy tells Ruby that he is one of the first people to survive the terrible disease, and that the government used him in experiments to find a cure. But the doctor didn't succeed. His father, the president, told the public that they had found a cure for the disease when they hadn't. Clancy was able to get away in the end, and he started an organization for kids to live safely. Clancy then teaches Ruby how to control her power and how to control other people's minds without touching them, and Ruby finally succeeds. Ruby teaches him how to erase people's memories. But while this is happening, Clancy takes control of her mind and tries to kiss her. Ruby is upset, so she punches him and leaves. Ruby and her friends have decided to leave. But as they run away, soldiers from the camp ambush them. Liam tries to fight back, but he suddenly loses consciousness. It turns out that Clancy has made him lose consciousness. It turns out that Clancy has been the mastermind behind it all along. Clancy has told the camp captain to arrest all of the children. Clancy has been using his father, the president, to take control of the government. His main goal is to give children superpowers so that no one will ever hurt him again. Ruby then uses her power to make the camp captain kill himself, and Zoo controls the electricity to make a trick to get away. All of a sudden, armed forces arrive with helicopters to take all the children away. The troops brought the children in the red group who can control fire. It turns out that the government has secretly given them weapons, and they set the camp on fire. The battle finally starts. The Red Army tries to burn Liam and his friends, but Liam uses his power to hit back. But all of a sudden, Clancy appears in the middle of the battle and controls the minds of all the children there. Liam and the others have to leave the location and leave Ruby behind because only Ruby has the power to fight Clancy. Ruby creates her army by using her ability, but Clancy shows how cruel he is by forcing them to kill themselves by shooting each other. Clancy tries to get Ruby to forget her friends by using his new ability to erase memories. But Ruby uses her power to control the pilot's mind, causing the helicopter to crash and explode. Ruby and Charles get away from the explosion thanks to Charles's help, but Charles gets burned and is badly hurt, so Ruby has to use her panic button to call the Children's League for help. The next morning, all of them are picked up by the League team. Charles is taken to the hospital right away to be treated, and Zoo is taken in by a loving family. But the League arrests Liam because he has betrayed the League before. The League thinks that Liam knows too much about them to be set free. Ruby meets Kate and makes a deal with her to free Liam if she joins the League and fights against the government with them. Kate is sure that Liam will never leave without Ruby, and he won't let Ruby join the League. Eventually, Ruby meets Liam. Liam says that he wants them to stay together and talk about plans for both of them in the future. But Ruby is forced to erase herself from Liam's memories so that Liam can be freed and so that she can join the Children's League and fight with them. All of his memories of Ruby from the first time they met in the van, when they talked and danced together, are gone. Suddenly, Liam doesn't remember anything about Ruby, so he leaves. Ruby then cries when she sees Liam leave. At the end of the story, Ruby joins the Children's League and gets training there. But there's more. Ruby and her friends still have a long way to go because it turns out that Clancy is still alive, and there will be a battle between the two sides. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more and hit the like button to help me out, and also leave a comment if you want me to explain your favorite film. Until next time, take care.